Hi everyone, welcome to a show Respect. Here is Adrian, and today I want to speak about my family. So I wrote this, when life destroys you, please watch this, because it's very important. So when life destroys you, when everything you build collapses, it happens, guys. And when you feel like the weight of your past and your present is too heavy to carry, and I want you to stay with me in this moment, because what I'm going to share is not theory, it's not motivation, it is not something I learned from books, it is something I lived and I want to share with you. Something that runs through a generation of my family, and something that may help you understand that your situation is not the end of our story. So please write in comments what you think. Thank you for supporting, for subscribing, for being part of this amazing community. So there are people today who think they're struggling, and they are struggling, we are struggling. It's normal to struggle, because who think life is maybe unfair, who think they are stuck, no purpose, but they have never experienced what real survival actually looks like across generations. Because my family did not just face hardship, they faced deportation, exile, loss, rebuilding from nothing, and carrying emotional scars that lasted for decades, and yet somehow they continued forward. So my grandparents and my great-grandparents, they were deported to Siberia, taken from their homes in Moldova without a choice, without preparation, without any real explanation that could make sense of the pain. And they were forced into a place of extreme cold, isolation and survival, where every single day was about staying alive rather than living a life with dignity and comfort. So they lost everything they built in Moldova, their homes, their land, their identity, tied to a place they thought would always be theirs, and in a single moment all of it was taken away from them. And what makes it even heavier is not just the loss itself, but the silence that follows such loss. The kind of silence where you cannot ask why, because there is not an answer that can repair what was broken. So they spent almost 11 years in Siberia, surviving winters that tested the limits of human endurance, raising families in impossible conditions, adapting to a life that no one would ever choose willingly. And when they were finally allowed to leave Siberia, they were not allowed to return home in Moldova, to their village, to their home, and to their city, not to the place where their life once existed, where they built their family with children, with everything. So imagine this reality. Imagine surviving exile for over a decade, only to be told that you can never go back. And then at 65 years old, when most people are slowing down and resting, they had to start again from zero with a lot of children, grandchildren. So built a new life, basically, a new home, and a new identity in a place that was not there. So carrying all the memories of what was lost, while still trying to survive what was left. So and there is another story inside my family that is just painful, because my brother's grandmother was killed when he was only 18 years old, after he brought the Romanian flag onto the roof of the school, a symbolic act that in any normal context would mean expression, identity, or pride. But in that time, a place, it became something that cost a life. And that is a level of reality most people today cannot even imagine. And not only he was killed, and 17 more young students were killed at that time. So think of that for a moment. Not war, not crime in the way we usually understand it, but a moment involving a flag, a school, and a young life, in this case 18 young lives, and suddenly everything changes. And this becomes part of your family history, something that never fully leaves you, even when your years pass and generations move forward. I remember my grandmother was waiting his son to come home, and he never came. So, and also my mother grew up in a family of 9 siblings, 9 children in one household, and she would tell me how when food came on the table, it was not a peaceful moment. It was survival in motion, because within minutes everything would be gone. Not because people were selfish, but because they were simply not enough to go around. And scarcity teaches lessons that comfort never can. And when you grow up in that kind of environment, you learn very early that life is not about complaining, it's about adapting, it is about moving, it is about doing whatever is necessary in the moment to survive. And that mindset becomes the part of who you are, with whether you want it or not. So yeah, tough, no? I started also when I was a child, 9 years old, milking cows at 9 years old, and not as a hobby, not as a lesson for character building, but as a responsibility, as a contribution, as part of daily survival. And later I lived in a Soviet dorm for 9 years, where life was structured around simplicity, shared struggle, and limited resources. And through all of that, I worked in many different ways, selling flowers, jars, fruits, working in restaurants, driving, organizing events, doing whatever was necessary to keep moving forward. And even in those conditions, I never stopped dreaming. Please, guys, dream. It's beautiful to dream. I never stopped visualizing something better. I never stopped imagining different people, better environments, and a future that was not defined by limitation. Because sometimes imagination is the only freedom you have when the reality is difficult, right? So I left home and my country, Moldova, at 32 years old, not because everything was perfect, but because life opened another path through my partner. So she is not Moldovan, but she has a job that requires to work at different countries every few years, which means now in real time, right now, I learn to adapt again. New country, new language, new culture, new identity challenges. And at the same time, I work to become financial independence in an environment that was completely unfamiliar. Yeah, so and what I learned through all of this is simple but powerful. No matter how many times life resets you, no matter how many times you are forced to start over, your ability to adapt becomes your greatest strength. And what once felt like instability becomes resilience. So I believe deeply in community, in love, in kindness. I was born in a village, in empathy, in helping others, because I have seen what life looks like without those things. And I have also seen how powerful it becomes when people choose to support each other instead of competing with each other. So, yeah. And I also believe this. Your irrational mind may tell you that you are broken, but that you are, it says your irrational mind, you are behind, that you are not enough, that you are stuck in a situation you cannot escape. But your conscious mind, your real self, is still whole, still capable, still able to grow, still able to rebuild, still able to move forward even when everything feels heavy. So I want you to hear me clearly. I'm not speaking from distance. I'm speaking from experience. And I'm telling you that you are not finished, you are not lost, and you are not defined by your current struggle. Because if generations before you survived exile, loss, hunger, rebuilding and starting over at impossible ages, then you also carry something within you that is stronger than you realize. I support you, I encourage you, I listen to you in my live streams, and I'm here with you like a voice on your shoulder, reminding you that you are not alone in what you are carrying. And I want to thank you for being part of the I Show Respect community, because that name is not just a title, it is a choice, a way of seeing people, and a way of treating life with meaning. And if life feels like it destroying you right now, do not assume it is the end of your story, because sometimes what feels like destruction is actually the beginning of rebuilding something stronger, something clearer, and something that will one day make sense for everything you are doing through right now. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for being part of this family I Show Respect.